Well, hi there, welcome back to Abus and Beyond. And as you will all well know, Wi-Fi is right up there with electricity and water as an absolute essential in a van nowadays, especially when you've got two kids that are very much dependent upon iPads at times. So yeah, Wi-Fi is essential. Those of you who watch for a while will know that we have StarLink. We've had StarLink for a while in the van. Well, I say a while, just over a year. As a means of getting Wi-Fi into the van. There's pros and cons with StarLink. I'll talk about the pros later on, but a couple of the cons. One, when we first bought it, it was around about £70 a month, which is a lot of money. But when you were going away for a week, it was quite easy to factor that in to your holiday, you know, your trip. You're talking sort of 10 quid a day extra just to get some guaranteed decent Wi-Fi. When you were dropping down to just going away for a couple of nights, it was a bit harder to justify that kind of cost. It is on a rolling monthly contract, so you can start and stop whenever you like. So if you're going away for a couple of weeks, it's probably not too bad. But yeah, like for a couple of nights, £70 is quite a lot of money. And then what's now got worse is it's now over £90 per month. So you can get it cheaper if you were to use a more data limiting service. But yeah, if you want unlimited data on the top of the van, over £90. I think it's about £96, which obviously if you're going away for a couple of nights, you're just not going to spend that much extra, are you? And also the other issue that you have with StarLink is, the one we've got anyway, is the old style dish that moves and looks for the satellite and gets a decent signal, but it is powered by 230 volt. So it does need to be plugged in to a normal 3-pin plug. In a camper van, if you're off grid, that requires an inverter, and therefore it's pretty power hungry. So you do start burning through your battery pretty quickly. So I started looking at other options, and that led me down a bit of a path of research, trying to find the best option, and I stumbled across more generic Wi-Fi routers, mobile Wi-Fi routers, which use a SIM card. You pop your SIM card in and you get your phone signal, which gives you your data, and you then send all that data out via a Wi-Fi signal as like a hotspot in the van. The idea is you buy a data SIM card, pop that in the device, that searches for a phone signal, brings the data in, and then everyone in the van connects to the Wi-Fi hotspot of that router, just like you would at home. Obviously at home you're usually powered via a cable rather than an actual antenna. But this time, yeah, we're going to use an antenna and bring the data in that way. So that leads us on to the product itself. So this is the Netgear Nighthawk M6 Pro. Netgear very kindly sent us this. They do a few different ones in the range actually. They do a Netgear Nighthawk M3, an M6 and an M6 Pro. This is the top of the range one. And when we open it, I'll touch on why we went for this one when they actually messaged us. But yeah, nice little box, tiny little product. So let's unbox it and have a look what's inside. So let's have a look at what it has on the box. As you can see here, it's a 5G product. So that means it has a 5G antenna to bring in that data. It's also Wi-Fi 6 enabled, so the later products can use Wi-Fi 6. Let's have a look on the side. So just more branding on the side, over 25 years of world-class innovation. Branding on the top, again branding on the side. On the bottom it's just got serial numbers, which probably shouldn't show you. And then on the back, just a bit of data. Yeah, not a huge amount on there really that's relevant. Let's open it up and have a look inside. Ah! Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, nice packaging. These are always satisfying to open, aren't they? And then let's have a look inside. So, got a quick start guide. Have a look at that in a minute, and then you can actually see the product itself. So that's nice and small. Looks good actually. This is the battery that is removable, and there's a reason why it's removable, which we'll touch on in a bit. And then what's underneath? More leaflets. So we do actually have a power adapter with both European and UK plugs. There's the actual brick itself. So yeah, you just pop that on like so. And then you also have a USB-A to USB-C cable. And then that's it in the box. Let's take a look at the actual device itself. You have a screen in the middle here. I've got protective coating on the top of that screen. You can actually scan that QR code to get some advice on how to set it up. Then on the sides, you've got nothing on the sides. It's just like a bit of a design on it. And then on the top, I'm guessing that's a power button. On the back, just a Netgear symbol. And then on the bottom, this is where all your connectors are. So you have 2 ports which are designed for an external antenna. So we'll probably look at doing that in the future. Being inside a camper van, you're inside a metal box, which will reduce the signal that is able to get into the van. It shouldn't be too bad because we can get phone signal in the van. So yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. Then there's also an Ethernet port on the bottom. And again, I shall talk about why I specifically wanted one with an Ethernet port on the bottom in the when we get a bit further into the video. And then there's also that USB-C input. Right, I think we need to take this cover off, I believe. Yep, so that just pops off the back. And then you have access to put your SIM card in and also the battery. So for the actual data itself, I went with Smarty, which is just a really straightforward website. You just pick how much data you want. It's all monthly contracts, so you can start and stop it as you wish. Gone for 40 gig, which is £13 a month, you know, fraction of the price of StarLink. You get, you know, obviously loads of different devices, use different size SIM cards, but you just get one of these adapters like what you see all the time now. So yeah, take it down to the smaller size and it shows you the symbol there of which way to pop it in. It should just slide underneath and in. Then the battery. Now the batteries are pretty decent size. It's quite big for a product like this. And the way it works is you put your battery in and you can use it as a portable device. So you charge it up, use it wherever you want. So you could just pop it on the side in here and it would be your Wi-Fi in here. Or if you wanted to, say we were away for a while in the camper van and we decided enough is enough, we are going to a hotel. We could take this out with the battery built in, take it into the hotel, and we wouldn't have to rely upon the hotel's Wi-Fi. We'd be able to use our own Wi-Fi. But if you choose to almost hardwire it in, so have it permanently powered on inside the van, which is what I intend to do, you actually take the battery out completely and you just leave it plugged in all the time. The idea behind that is just to stop the battery getting degraded, being constantly topped up to its maximum. So we shall put the battery in for now just to see what it's like with the battery in. But yeah, in the future I actually intend to remove this, and I'm probably going to mount it eventually when we have this all boxed in. I'm probably going to pop it up here so it's easy to access, and it will be one of these cables that I've run in will be the means of powering it. But for now, I'm just going to show you what it's like just using a USB cable. So that's the battery in. Let's pop the back on. Just clips back on. Straightforward as that. And you'll see obviously that we got a power adapter, 3-pin plug. You can use it with the 3-pin plug if you want to, but as I said before, StarLink has to have that, which is less efficient. You can use it just using the USB cable, so you don't have to be on an inverter. You can just be off grid all the time, which is far better. Right, like I say, it does come with a USB-A to USB-C cable, but because it's a more normal size, just for this video, I'm actually going to be using this much longer cable so that I can demonstrate it to you a bit easier. So that's plugged into the 12 volt socket that's just in the van. Pop it into the bottom there and it powers up. So we've got no mains plugged into this. We are just purely on 12 volt. Let's pull this, shall we? Oh, oh, oh. Oh no. Oh, yeah. Satisfying. So it takes a little bit of time to boot up, and also it will take a little bit of time because it's the first time this SIM card has been used. So it has been activated. I've done that. In fact, whilst it's powering up, what I'll actually talk about is the benefits of StarLink over something like this. Now, we've been to places like the Festival of Sped, also Riyadh, and these are all areas where the mobile phone signal is all set up in that area, and that's all well and good if you are the only person, or you know, it's the regular normal amount of people in that area. As soon as 20-30,000 people descend on that area, it doesn't matter how much phone signal you've got, it will probably just not work. It starts blocking up, it starts getting jammed, you just get too much usage upon that network. That's where StarLink is absolutely fantastic, because it's talking to a satellite direct. It doesn't matter how many people are there, it makes no difference at all. So you always will have some signal, but obviously it's a very expensive method of getting data into the van. So what we intend to do is we will use this where we can, because it's far cheaper, and if anything, I'll probably just leave it running all the time so the van is always connected to Wi-Fi. I can then always, through this display for the battery and the water, that'll be connected to this, and therefore I'll always be able to just log in and see how much water is on board, what the battery condition's like, that kind of thing. You could also add CCTV into the van, so you could have CCTV externally, internally, and then you could always just log in with your phone if it's connected all the time to the actual Wi-Fi. Also other things like trackers. If you wanted a tracker, that could be connected to that. So yeah, there's lots of options to allow you to keep an eye on the van and get a good idea of what's going on. And like I say, £13 is far cheaper. You could always drop it down as well. So if you knew that you weren't going away for a while, you don't need 40 gig of data, you could drop it right down to 20 gig, and that's probably about 7 or 8 quid. So it's, yeah, gives you lots of options. And then when we go away, if we went to a festival and the phone signal is no good, it doesn't take much just to pop the StarLink up, turn that on, and then activate that if we wanted to, if we felt it necessary. Now, although I've just been talking about obviously the positives of StarLink, another negative is for ours in particular, because ours is the actuated one, the one that moves, you can't travel with that turned on. It has to be stowed away when we are traveling. With this device, you will be able to have it on permanently, so even if you've got data signal, everything in the van will still be connected, so the kids will be able to use their iPads whilst travelling, that kind of thing. You could also go to somewhere, say you went on holiday in France, you could pick up a French SIM card if you wanted to, and that can often work out more cost effective and use the data that way. So yeah, plenty of pros and cons of both, but I think running them sort of side by side should work quite well. Right, let's see how we're getting on. So we have powered on, and this is the home screen that you are greeted with after going through a few settings at the start. You can see that there is currently, it knows that the Smarty SIM card is in. It's on 4G, interestingly, so I'll have to have a look at why it's on 4G and not 5G. That might be all that we can get here. It is pretty low, so we'll see. The battery capacity, well, the battery charge on 61%. It also shows the time, things like that, and also how much has been used. 6 days left. Don't know if that's right or not, but then we can swipe up and then you get to your settings. So you can see that we just have a generic password in at the minute. Our Wi-Fi address is Netgear 333B at the minute. Yeah, password, and then yeah, you can click on data usage. You can reset it. So it assumes that it starts on the 1st of the month, which Ours doesn't. Ours has started today, but that's fine. We can set that up as required. Internet, what we got? So yeah, cellular only, Wi-Fi and cellular. What we got? Oh, so this is how this connects, I believe. So if you wanted to, you could have it connect to the Wi-Fi in your house as and when, which isn't a bad idea. So when you parked on the drive, at the minute it's just set to cellular, so it's using the SIM card purely as its means of getting the internet network map. So that'll be if you've got things connected, which we haven't at the minute. Nothing has been connected. Wi-Fi, you can add things like a guest Wi-Fi setting. So if you wanted to, you could have it so if you've got people coming over, they can connect, and then they are booted off as and when they're no longer needed on the actual system. You can change the different bands. So yeah, that 6 gigahertz is the new one with Wi-Fi 6. I don't actually think I've got anything that connects to Wi-Fi 6 at the minute. But yeah, so there's all different ways you can set that up. Devices, nothing connected yet. And then yeah, you've got different, what we've got in here, options, range, standby, Wi-Fi signal. What's that say? Turn Wi-Fi signal off if you're in a Wi-Fi restricted area. All right, okay, so a bit like putting it on airplane mode and things like that. Power mode, you've got a couple of different power modes, and this is mainly to preserve battery life. So at the minute it's on balance, so it gives you some decent battery life. So if we were to unplug this, it wouldn't try and send the Wi-Fi signal as far as possible. It would limit it a bit just to try and preserve some of the battery life. Now we actually intend on, like I said earlier, having this permanently plugged in, so we'll be able to put this on performance, or well, unplugged in, which will then give us the best performance of Wi-Fi available. So it should give us the best range and the fastest speeds that way. And then settings, where you can just go through different things. You can put it on airplane mode, look at the different security, things like locking the screen, what we've got, mobile, yeah, all sorts of different things. You can look at different regions, roaming, turn the roaming data off if your SIM card that's plugged into this commands higher charges when it is roaming. You can turn all that off. Screen settings, change the brightness and all that jazz. Messages, this is just notifications, and then yeah, you've got all the different software, you know, the actual, like, where we've got updates, all that kind of stuff. So I think what the best thing to do now is to actually connect the phone to it and see what it's like. So connecting the device is just the same as connecting to your home internet. You go onto your settings on your phone, go to your Wi-Fi, and then that Netgear device should show up, which it does on the top there. Connect Netgear, and we've just put password as our password for now. Click join, and there we go, it is connecting slowly. There we go, that is on. So as you can see at the top, we are now connected. Now on the top of my home screen, I've actually got a little widget here, which is Thunderbird 2, that's the van, and it shows me the battery status, how much solar we're getting and things like that. You'll see in the top corner, it actually says it's 2 months since it actually updated. That's because we changed the internet in the house and this has not been connected to that. What I actually plan to do is I'm going to connect the van electrics to the Netgear, and therefore I will always be able to see. It doesn't need to be on the home Wi-Fi, then it doesn't matter where the van is, I will always be able to see what the battery status is like. So that's really cool actually. I'm looking forward to being able to geek out on the amount of solar I'm getting. And yeah, so that's us connected to the internet. Like I say, I do plan on having this permanently wired in, not down there, but up at the top here. And then I'll be able to remove the battery, put it on the maximum performance setting. It's actually worth looking to see how much power we are using. At the minute, it is charging the battery. So it's using quite a bit. We're on, and also we've got the lights on in the van, and things like that. So we're using 80 watts, which is actually quite a lot. Thankfully, we're getting 100, we're getting double that in solar, so we are still charging the battery, which is quite nice. Once the battery is removed, in fact, let's try that. Let's take the battery out and see how much it uses. So whilst it's rebooting, I will actually mention why I wanted one with an Ethernet port on the bottom. There's a company called Star V Mount, and they do adapter kits to turn your StarLink into a 12-volt system. It does require to use a different modem to what StarLink actually comes with. That's where this comes in. I needed one with an Ethernet port. Basically, you plug your StarLink into this, your dish into this, and it uses this as a router, and it makes the device 12 volt, which will therefore mean we will use less energy. And when we do want to use StarLink, if we want to spend the money, we will actually be able to plug it into the bottom of this, which, yeah, makes it far more efficient. So this comes in really, really handy for both the SIM card way of getting data and also StarLink. Right, so now it is just plugged straight in with no battery in it and just powered straight through the actual 12 volt system, and we are using 40 watts of power, well 47 watts. Now the original result was a little bit vague because we didn't realise the fridge was on. So yeah, if I turn the lights off as well, drops again to, gosh, the lights are using a lot, 20 watts. So that's not bad. It's fluctuating between 15 and 20 watt power in this. I think that's the only thing that's on now. Yeah, so that's pretty good, isn't it? Much, much more efficient than running StarLink. So yeah, there we have it. That is the Netgear M6 Pro, Nighthawk M6 Pro. Make sure you consider subscribing because we will keep you updated on how this is doing as we travel. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Really helps us out. We shall see you in the next video. Cheers.